guys, what's up? It's Dal. Welcome back to my channel. We are doing a reading vlog that I'm so very excited about because I'm rereading The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. So a little bit of history about this book. This book came out in 2008, I believe, and I've heard of the series. I've heard of the trilogy before I started high school, but then I didn't read it until then. So I graduated 8th grade in 2011, and therefore that's when I started high school. And my school was that school that made us do summer reading. I had to do assigned reading all 4 years. Freshman year, going on to freshman year, I had to read The Hunger Games, which I know of all books to read for school, that's bizarre. But I didn't care. To this day, it's still the best book it's still the best assigned reading I've ever had. And I remember we had to do 2 assignments. It was like left brain, right brain. And I forgot which side was which, but one was an essay, one was really artsy. So I had to write an essay about how I would survive the Hunger Games. And then I had to do like an art project. I had to draw the characters and then pick words from the novel itself that would describe them. And I remember everyone did the main 3. Everyone did Rue, Katniss, and Peeta. But I was that bitch where I just had to be different. So I did do Katniss and Rue, but then I did Clove. So yeah, I read The Hunger Games. I immediately bought Catching Fire, and I immediately bought Mockingjay that year. But I have not read these books since 2011. 2011 was 9 years. I was 14 9 years ago. That's really scary. So 2011 was 9 years ago. I'm gonna be 23 in 2 months. I don't like this. Anyway, I remember when the movie came out, like the whole freshman class was very, very excited because the movie came out that school year. It came out in 2012, I think, but it came out that school year. And I remember me and my friends getting together to like go see it, and it was very, very fun. And yeah, so I'm reading this in preparation of The Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes, I think it's called, some weird confusing title. I don't know if I necessarily need to reread the trilogy in order to understand, but I'm going to anyway just because I've been wanting to reread the series, and this gives me an excuse to do it. The majority of my memory is of the first book. My memory of Catching Fire is very limited, and I remember nothing from Mockingjay. I haven't even seen that movie since it was in theaters. I haven't even seen Mockingjay Part 2, like, in my whole life. So, and speaking of the movies, I might do movie reaction videos and, like, compare them to the books. I don't know yet. We'll see. But yeah, so at first I wasn't like super looking forward to it, like I wasn't in the mood to reread them, but now I'm ready to go and I'm very excited. So without further ado, here is the reading vlog of me rereading The Hunger Games for the first time since I was 14 years old. That is so fucking scary to think about. Okay, hi, it's been a few hours, but I finally started reading. I'm not even halfway through chapter 1. I think I'm only like 10 pages in. So right now, like, we've already met Katniss, obviously, and we've already met Gale, and Gale's doing the whole famous thing, like, we could run, you know. And I forgot how, like, eerie this book starts. Like, it's kind of creepy, like, you could tell she's really suffering in this very poor area. And I really like how we still don't know what The Hunger Games actually is. Like, she's dropping minor hints here and there. Something I forgot about is what these characters are actually supposed to look like, because I got so used to Jennifer Lawrence and what the fuck's his name? Liam Hemsworth. And they don't look like what the characters are supposed to look like. I would argue that Katniss is white because for me, olive tone skin reminds me of like the Mediterranean, so like Southern Italians and Greeks. Jennifer Lawrence and Liam Hemsworth are they're not very pale. Very pale is me. But they're lighter than olive tone skin. They don't have gray eyes. And they don't have the famous black hair that Katniss and Gale have. So it's like, holy shit. And because I like remember like when the movie was coming out and then, you know, Jennifer Lawrence got the role, like I remember the controversy it caused. So, I mean, not as controversial as Rue to this day I still don't understand why that was so fucking controversial. Well, I do. That's a rhetorical statement. It's because people are racist. But like, it's like things I just remember 9 years later, you know? Okay, so I was a little unsure about my statement of Katniss being white just because like not all the controversies are like the debates that happened when I first read this book are coming back in my head. And I learned that apparently District 12 was supposed to be in like the Appalachian of West Virginia, and I would have never guessed that unless it is it might be described in the book and I just don't remember. So I still don't know that answers anything. But her mom is like, she describes her mom as like blonde hair, blue eyed. So she's at least like half white. I don't know, I think she's white just because her description matches my Italian side of the family. I know I don't look like that, but like I have a lot of people on the Italian side of the family that have black hair and olive tone skin and not gray eyes. They all have like caramel eyes, but I should probably move on. Also, look how fucking old this book is. The pages are a lot yellower in reality. These are very yellow. These pages used to be like pearl white. So I should tell you how long I've had this book. Okay, so chapter 1 is done. It's taking me a lot longer because for some reason I cannot fucking focus tonight. But I forgot how anxiety inducing this was. Like I knew what was coming, and yet my heart was beating so fast just because I knew it was coming and I was so nervous. And I know what ends up happening, but why am I still so anxious? Is that like a good thing? Like it still holds up then, that it could still like freak me out? Because I remember it freaking me out when I first read this. But yeah, so where are we at? Prim's name was called. That's where we're at. Literally, that's how the chapter ends. It was Primrose Everdeen. So I don't know what my point is. I realize it's gonna take me forever to read this book if I keep pausing and talking to you guys, but I don't really care. So we're at the part where Peeta's name was already called and Katniss is telling us why she knows of Peeta. I am so emotional right now because the part where, you know, the part where everyone goes, came up, and that gave me chills. I remember like first reading that and getting chills at 14. Still giving me chills at 22. Also, of course, this is one of my college roommates is watching Avatar: The Last Airbender for the first time, and she just got to the part of Tales of Ba Sing Se where Uncle Iroh sings Leaves from the Vine. And it's too many emotions for like one single moment. I cry whenever that scene comes on. I sobbed the first time I saw it. She's sobbing, everyone's doing this. It's an emotional night. Okay, y'all, so I'm on chapter 3, and I'm just realizing that Joanna is mentioned in this book. Because, like, remember there's a character, Joanna from District 7 and Catching Fire and so on. She's mentioned in this because Peeta's crying, and then Katniss is wondering if that's, like, his regime, I guess, or if that's, like, his strategy, if that's his strategy to, like, appear weak but then come out strong. And Joanna, because that was Joanna's plan. My mind is blown. Blown? Is that blown? Wow, okay, it's time for bed, but I'm not gonna go to bed. Okay, it's 1:10 in the morning, and I'm only on page 60, so maybe we won't be getting to a page 100. To a page 100. What the hell? To page 100. So some things I actually want to talk about, because I remember the movie more than I remember the book, and the movie, like, doesn't touch upon how important Katniss's father was to her life. Like, she spends entire chapters, like, talking about how he taught her how to hunt, how he brought her to the Hob, how he taught her, like, what plants to eat. Like, he's so important to her upbringing, and it just kind of amazes me the movie doesn't touch upon that at all. Another thing I want to point out, something that, like, went right over my head as a kid, is Haymitch's reaction to surviving the Hunger Games, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Like, as a kid, I just thought he was an annoying asshole, and, like, he's still kind of an asshole, but, like, there's obviously some PTSD there that just went right over my head as when I was a 14-year-old kid reading this for the first time. So what I'm trying to say is, shit hits different when you read your childhood favorites as an adult. And like another thing, I was just talking to some of my friends about this because we're all like rereading some of our childhood favorites right now. Like, I'm still rooting for Katniss, obviously, but it's like, I'm not rooting for her as some girl who's my age, like, yeah, go, woman unite, you know, like, I'm rooting for her as if she's, like, one of my children, because, like, you know, now that I'm older than her, shit just really hits different. It is day 2 of this vlog. I did not get to 100 pages because I realized it was, like, 2 in the morning, but, like, hear me out for a second, because I'm a fucking dumbass. But we got to the part where the opening ceremonies when they're on the chariots and stuff, that just ended, so that's where we're at. It's about page 70-ish. I remember this scene being a lot longer for some reason, but it might just be the movie that's, like, taking over my mind here. And I'm saying I'm a dumbass because at 2 in the morning I was so tired, I'm like, I can't push through. You know when I finally went to bed? 5 o'clock in the fucking morning. That's when I finally went to bed because I got into a huge discourse with some of my friends about Avatar: The Last Airbender because I am obsessing over it right now. Like, my obsession is, it's back full swing. We spent hours talking about that series, and I'm like, I really need to get to bed. And then I didn't wake up till 1 p.m. It's currently 6:30 p.m. So I need to get reading, because on Friday, because it's Wednesday today, Friday I may or may not be going to Wisconsin. Not sure yet. But while I'm there for the weekend, I won't have time to read. So, also, my mom's making pasta, so she had me grate, like, this huge block of Parmesan cheese, which is, like, the most Italian thing I could have just said right now. and my fingers are swollen because of it. I don't know why, but it's been an hour and they haven't swelled down yet. That might be really bad, but I can't afford a doctor, so. Okay, so we're only one chapter into my read. I left it off for a while because my mom announced dinner when I was about to read, so I went to go eat. And then there was some Twitter drama with a certain author that I had to catch up on. So I was reading all that. But we just got introduced to the Avix, I think it's going to be pronounced Avix. And I remember being really upset that they never discussed this girl in the movies. Because I remember how like bone-chilling it was when I was first reading about it. And it still is. Can I just say, we all need a Cinna in our lives. I'm at the part where she's getting all dolled up for her interview and she's like, I don't know how to do this, I'm a dead slug, blah blah blah. And Cinna's like, do you consider me a friend? Maybe I'm a friend, just look my way and I got you. And I'm like, ugh, chills, so fucking cute. Oh god, you guys, like, it's 2 in the morning. It's too late for emotions, but I'm almost done with this chapter, and this is the last chapter before part 2. You guys, something just happened that I completely forgot about. Okay, so I finished part 1. Part 2 I'm going to start tomorrow because I know if I start it now I'll never be going to bed. I completely forgot, like, obviously I know that, like, Katniss and Peeta, like, become a thing. Is there, like, shit on my glasses? No. So, I know they become a thing, but I totally forgot, and maybe he does this in the movie, but I forgot that, like, at the end of his interview with Caesar, he's, like, he makes this whole show how he has a crush on a girl, but she doesn't know it, and Caesar's like, oh, just win, and, like, you know, got her, and then Peeta was like, it won't work because she came here with me. And I like forgot. How many times am I going to say the word forgot? I just forgot that happened. And like, you guys, I'm like angry. I'm angry along with Katniss. Is she angry? I don't know because I didn't actually read the next chapter. But I'm wide awake now. But I need to go to bed because what time is it? It's 2:30. Ooh, my friends have tea for me. So it's 2:30 in the morning. Oh my god. Okay, so it's bedtime. And it's gonna be great. Maybe I could finish the rest of this book tomorrow. So it's day 3 of reading. I was doing this all day, so I have a red spot on my cheek right now. I'm tempted to finish the Hunger Games today, because like I said, I'm going on a weekend trip tomorrow, and I won't have time to read, so I don't want to put like a weird gap between it. Will I include a weekend trip in these reading vlogs? I don't really know, because my cousin doesn't know I have a YouTube channel. No one in my like personal life knows, and I want to keep it that way for as long as I can. But I have my coffee ready. I have to call my cousin within like an hour. Disney songs are stuck in my head. Speaking of Disney, you guys like this hat? I got it at Disney World. I wanted to wear this hat. I was so sick of wearing that Chicago White Sox hat because I wear that in a lot of videos. And I was wearing a purple shirt. And I'm like, I really want to wear my Monsters University hat. So I purposely changed into a blue shirt so that the outfit would match. Even though no one else is going to see me but you guys on camera on the interwebs, and then my mom who was home. So for just a catch up though, we're right at the part where Peeta's like, oh, she's here with me, and Katniss is about to like beat his ass basically. It begins. I just want to talk about Cinna again. That man is such a father figure, and I have no choice but to stand. Ooh, who's texting me? The way he was talking to Katniss right before she got launched into the games. Oof, we love to see it. Doesn't he have like a tragic ending later? Like, I kind of vaguely remember him getting, like, pulled away and catching fire, but I don't... Maybe I should, like, actually read and find out for myself. You guys, Peeta joined... Why do I keep holding this backwards? Peeta joined the careers. Why do I... Oh, I lost my bookmark. Why do I have no memory of that? Is that in the movie? I have absolutely no memory. Oh my god. I'm shook. So we're well into the games right now, and we're at the part where she does, we're at the part where she puts on the Tracker Jacker nest onto the careers, and 2 of them die, blah blah blah. She's hallucinating. Peeta saves her life. I forgot how gross this scene was. Like, she has crap oozing out of her that smells bad. She's seeing, like, bloody trees, because she's hallucinating. Seeing bloody trees falling at her feet. There's, like, orange goo everywhere. Butterflies are exploding. Like, that's disgusting, and, like, I just read this when I'm about to make dinner, so I don't really have an appetite anymore, but I do, because I haven't eaten. It's 8 p.m. and I have not eaten anything, and that's not good. So I don't know what I'm gonna make yet. We'll see. I'm just trying to have a good time, and Rue is dying. I've had dinner. It was not as good as I thought it would be. But it's fine. I've never made a kebab before, so I have a lot of practice to do. It's 11:23 p.m. The spear has entered Rue's body. And I'm upset. I'm upset. But I smell the start of a revolution. I completely forgot about the song. And, like, it's been pulled from the deep recesses of my mind. So I'm on part 3, the victors. Rue's death. I got teary-eyed. I got a little teary-eyed. And with the song and then, like, knowing how she did this thing and, like, I pictured the movie. And then, like, so one of the, I've said before that I'm not a huge rereader of books. Like, again, this is only my second time rereading this book in, like, the almost 10 years I've had it. I love rediscovering, like, the minor details, like, all the stuff I said in the past about, like, forgetting. And then the fact that District 11 gave her their bread as a thank you. So I love those details, like, and, like, knowing in the movie that they revolt. I don't know if the later books talk about that revolt. I have no memory of that, and we'll see when I read them. But it's, like, minor stuff that I love. And like, of course I knew that in the end both her and Peeta survived, but, like, I forgot the minor detail that Claudius announced it. Like, hey, like, if 2 people from the same district are the only ones left, then you both win. Like, I forgot that was announced. Before I move on, though, can I, like, talk about one thing I've noticed that's different in the book than the movies? Because in the movies, like, remembering the actors that were hired to play, like, the careers, like, I mean, the guys fit, but it's like the woman didn't fit, because Katniss mentions a few times that she's a very small, I shouldn't say very, but she's a small woman, small girl, she's 16. She's a small person, but then the careers are, like, significantly bigger. Like, even the female careers are bigger than her. And I feel like they should have done that in the movie, because I know I can remember Clove and I can vaguely remember Glimmer, but they don't fit the description of the book, like, at all. And considering, like, District 12 is really poor, and then Districts 1, 2, and 4 are supposed to be, like, the richest, the book's description makes more sense than what we see in the movie. I'm well aware I'm thinking way too much into this, especially because, like, those actors are only in one movie out of the whole saga. But still, like, wouldn't it make more sense? And I feel like because they're bigger, that makes them more of a threat, especially during the tree scene. Like, Katniss says the only reason she was able to get that high while, like, Cato couldn't is because of how small she was, whereas Cato is, like, this big burly dude and he goes flying down. Like, Cato, I think they casted correctly, but I don't know. I'm thinking way too deep into it, probably. Okay, so Katniss and Peeta are reunited, and why are YA male characters so obsessed with saying, "Besides, I like watching you sleep"? I hate that line so much. Okay, as of 2 a.m., I officially have 90 pages left, so I'm at a good point, and I'm gonna keep reading for, like, an hour or two. And can I just say, the feast in the book is actually a lot more exciting than the feast in the movie. I remember, like, in the movie, I remember Katniss being, like, scared out of her wits, which she, like, has every right to be because Clove was attacking her. But in the book, she was like, you know what, I'm not gonna give in, I'm just gonna keep smirking, like, I'm gonna have a sense of dignity, I'm gonna look Clove in the eye. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't know, so it was like, cooler. Like, that's what I expect of Katniss, not what I saw in the movie. And again, this brings me back to my point about, like, how in the movie the careers weren't bigger, like they're described in the book. Because, like, the actress who plays Clove in the movie, you really want me to believe someone of her stature can pin down Jennifer Lawrence? No. But but in the book, she can easily pin down Katniss, because, again, it's made very clear that the careers are a lot bigger than Katniss's, so I'm just saying, because out of pure curiosity, I looked up the height of the girl who played Clove. I'm 5'1", and she's not much taller than me. I think she was only, like, 1 or 2 inches taller than me. At 5'1", I cannot pin down Jennifer Lawrence. I'm just saying. We're in the final stretch. We're in the last day of this reading vlog. It's 12:15 p.m. I don't have to leave the house till about 2:30 for the train. I have 30 pages left. I think I can do it. I read the majority of the games yesterday. Not like part 2 of the games, I mean, like, the majority of the Hunger Games, like, the event yesterday, so, which actually worked out because I felt as, like, frantic as Katniss did. So, considering I have 30 pages left, I read, like, 200 pages yesterday. I can't even tell you when I was able to do that last. Like, I had so much time on my hands, and I felt so proud of myself. But right now, we're at the part where there's only 3 of them left. Thresh killed Clove, we're gonna assume Cato killed Thresh, Peeta accidentally killed Foxface, but which I remember differently. I remember him, like, nearing, like, a panic attack when he found out what the berries were for. But then, like, in this, he was kind of just, like, sullen and, like, you know, my bee kind of thing. Final conclusions is that Cato's a pussy, but right now he's running away from these, like, weird mutations, they're called, and then Katniss is running away. I haven't, like, read the action just yet, because that's literally how the chapter ended. So, final thoughts. I will wait until the end of the book, obviously. But let's get reading, because we left on a very, very action-packed note. Ho ho ho! They won the games! So, like I said earlier, Claudius Templesmith came up and was like, hey, if the only 2 victors left are from the same district, you can both win. Comes to find out, here they are, only 2 left, both from District 12, and Claudius is like, just kidding, we looked at the rule book, no, there can only be 1 victor, and Katniss was like, holy shit, they did this on purpose, the game makers thought it would be hilarious if the 2 lovers were last, and then there was a fight to the death, so we're gonna fuck with their minds and kill ourselves. And now they won. And now I should probably keep reading because time is running short. I have 1 more chapter left, and we're at the part where this is where I consider like the plot of the series as a whole begins, because Haymitch just informed Katniss like, hey, the Capitol's really mad at you because you made a fool out of them, and now everyone's laughing at them. They're the laughingstock of Panem, and you need to act like you're hopelessly in love with Peeta to like keep up with it and not get killed, you know? And from what I can remember of Catching Fire and Mockingjay, this is like the start of all the things that, it's like the domino effect. Like, this happens and then shit just keeps going. It just, like, I'm not making any sense right now. I don't know how to review what I feel, but I'm very excited. I'm so excited to get to Catching Fire and Mockingjay, especially Mockingjay, because I literally remember next to nothing except that Prim dies. That's it. So it's going to be like Finnick dies too, I think. It's going to be like I'm reading that book for the first time all over again, so I'm very excited. And like, I love the smell of revolution. There's just so many things I see in this book that I can like low-key see in real life, whether it's my own country or just countries around the world from what we learned, or like past historical events. And it's interesting in a scary way. Y'all, I am done with this book, with my 2nd time ever reading this book, and girl, my dog's about to bark. Boy, do I have thoughts. This book is so much like scarier than I remember. Like, obviously not in a horror story type of way, but it's just it's a lot eerier to read now that I'm older, and like I'm older than Katniss now. Because like when I was first reading it at 14, I was like, yeah, this bitch is badass. She's older than me. She can do anything. She's like an older sister. She's doing things I would never be able to do. I thought the book was this dog, I swear. I thought the book was so action-packed when I was younger, and it was a page-turner. Dolce, there's no one there. Shut up. Like, reading this when I was younger, I just thought I was reading an action movie, but in book form. Now that I'm older, this book is a lot more sullen. It's creepier. It's darker. Like, obviously, there's still a lot of action, but it's more depressing now that I'm older than the main character, because I don't look at the main character as like this badass. I mean, she's still badass, but I don't look at her as like this badass older sister anymore. Now I look at her as like I look at Katniss as if she's one of my own children. So something I told my friend when we went to France, we went to Normandy, when we went to the American Cemetery at Omaha Beach, and I told her, like, we were only like 21, 22 at the time, and I told her, you don't realize how young we are until you see our age plastered all over gravestones, because the majority of those people were like in their early 20s. And, you know, and that's what I think of when I read stories like this with all these children dying. You don't realize how young 16 is, because Katniss is 16. You don't realize how young 16 is until you are no longer that age. And I'm not saying this as a 30-year-old. Like, I'm saying this as I'm gonna be 23 in 2 months. So it's only been 7 years since I've been 16, and I'm already saying this. And like Rue, like, you don't realize how young 12 is until you're in your 20s sometimes. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's just meeker, I guess, than when I remember. And it's more realistic, I think, now that I'm older. Because when I was younger, I was like, yeah, this is pure fiction. This can never happen. And now that I'm older, like, I can't imagine like something like the Hunger Games happening. But I can imagine, now that I've had more history lessons and now that I'm experiencing some bullshit happening in this country, I can't imagine like Hunger Games where kids are picked and the fight to the death happening. A government taking total control of their citizens like that. Yeah, I could see happening. If you want to argue if it could happen in America, but like, I mean, we see it happening in countries in the past. We see it happening in countries now. people are arguing it is happening to America, and I'm bringing up America simply because I live in this country. And there's things that I noticed, like history revisionist it's like not explicitly said in this book, but like the Capitol is trying to twist the whole Barry situation so its citizens don't know what really happened, and that the Capitol was made to be fools. And you know, I see history revisionists all the time in my own country. Like, people want to argue what the Civil War was about all the fucking time when we know it was about slaves, and people are trying to say no, it was about more than that. It's like, like, I see this all the time. I'm seeing this now with current events, with the protesting. Like, people on my Facebook who are trying to say Black Lives Matter is dumb and stuff, their excuse is that they'll bring up a picture of MLK, of Martin Luther King Jr., crossing the bridge, and they're like, this is what a peaceful protest is. And it's like, you have to remember what happened. Like, you're all ignoring what happened 5 minutes after that picture was taken. A lot of them were like, got the shit beat out of them. Again, because police brutality, since that's what the protests are about right now. It's like, I don't know how to put my thoughts into words, how this book was not creepy when I was a teenager, when I was 14. But it's creepy now that I'm getting older and I'm, you know, of voting age. So a lot of things that happen in politics depend on what I vote for. And, like, could something of this, like, measure happen in the future? Again, like, maybe not, like, literally the Hunger Games, but shit's gonna go down in the future, you know? Yeah. That's my thought. I guess on a lightish-hearted note is that I've never seen something so forced, like the Katniss and Gale relationship. Stick to Friends. Like, the Friends is a lot more believable than, like, what I know Suzanne Collins tries to twist it in the future. Like, it's gonna become some, like, love triangle. It reads as so forced now. Like, when I was younger, of course, I was like, oh my god, is she gonna pick Gale or Peeta? And I'm like, no. But I do like how well written Katniss' feelings towards Peeta's are. Like, I can only imagine the confusion. Does she really love him, or is it for the games? But she still cares about him, you know? Other than that, those are my final thoughts, I guess. Like, the mutation thing still, like, freaks me out. How they're, like, half human, half dog. That freaked me out the first time, still freaks me out now. Do I have any other thoughts? People always talk about, like, past tense and present tense when it comes to narration. And people don't really talk about the importance of that, and I think given this story, to keep it to keep us with Katniss as much as Suzanne Collins did, I think writing in present tense was a really, really smart choice. Because I've read books like this, it would be action-packed, but it would be in past tense, so, you know, that's like a huge hint the person's gonna survive, whereas present tense, like, I mean, obviously if you want to continue a trilogy, like, I guess we could have assumed the main character was going to survive. But you know what I'm trying to say with the whole, like, present tense thing? Like, we were actually there when she was scared. I was scared when she was angry. I was angry. I don't know. I felt at one with Katniss. So I have to say, it's, like, weird. Like, I feel like I'm reading about my daughter, but at the same time, it's like I'm at one with her. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm a jumbled mess just because of how, like, weird it is to read this book now, you know. But I smell a revolution around the corner. Catching Fire is next, then it's Mockingjay, and I remember being so angry at the plot of Catching Fire. Not because I thought it was a stupid plot, I was just angry because I was angry for the characters. But I think I'm gonna leave it at that. So thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, blah blah blah. I have to leave for Wisconsin soon, so I'm gonna go pack. Yeah, I gave myself a fucking hour to pack. We love to see it. Thanks for watching, and then stay tuned for my next few videos because I will also be vlogging Catching Fire and Mockingjay. And I'll see you guys later. Ciao a tutti.